Yeah, so sorry. I was just finding a way to just slide that in.
Why did you cut it short?
No. We gotta let Benny talk because he only has like
Alright.
27 minutes left. Unless you guys don't want to hear him talk, but you guys want to hear the bongo.
Last time I heard that line, I thought I'd just slide that in. That was on a prison movie, mate. How is everybody?
Terribly fine.
It's been an interesting week. So in crypto, hasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Had fun, that's for sure.
I'll cover the first thing first. I saw a few of you were waiting around for the Tuesday drop and sort of saying what's going on. Just to let you know that we've had confirmation tonight that it's 100% going ahead next Monday. I don't know what their internal thinking or thought process or whatever was, but I've since found out that someone that would be in direct competition to them has gone with something. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all unfolds. You're up all night.
It's going to be fun.
AJ?
I was up till 4 a.m. waiting for the dang drop. And the best part is, everyone thinks that I know, right, that the drop is going to happen or when the drop is going to happen or what tweet is going to happen and all that. And I said, I'm just with you guys. I'm just waiting.
Yeah, well, we're the same. We as we've said, we're the facilitator of helping them to market. We're not the people that control their media or their socials or their decision making or anything like that. So we're just literally rolling out the red carpet, helping, and then that'll lead to more. But we have actually had more stuff come through, which is great. We've got more people that want to do stuff with us. We had some very exciting calls today. I'm not going to name names yet until we've got everything organised. But I guess the one thing that I can share is we were told, and it was a great compliment, was that this person knows a lot about this space and about metaverses and NFTs, and said that ours was the most well thought out, planned, and that they had seen. And this person, when you hear who this person is, this person knows their stuff. So we kind of being honest, because
yeah, Benny. I mean, to tell you, I mean, when I heard that, right, when you shared it with the team, when I heard that, I got goosebumps. So for me,
well,
I mean, when these guys know who's talking, I mean, who's talking, then yeah, they will get goosebumps, I guess.
Pete
as well.
doesn't impress easily, that's for sure.
We did a little bit of a jig. We dance around. We don't forget we don't forget how lucky we are and how humbled we are by I guess that's how much it means to us as well when you get someone of this stature sort of say to you, I see a lot of this stuff and yours is the best. That makes me very proud of what the team's doing and putting in, and a lot of thought has gone into it. And the thing is that a lot of people are saying, well, show us, give us a look at it, give us a better look under the hood. The guys that are actually designing it for us and in conjunction with us have actually literally said in our last call, the shop that we sort of put up as a prelude and a preview for you guys, we actually think that's a bit embarrassing considering what we're about to put out, and we would like to do a lot better. So this Friday, we will receive the updated version of what the world looks like, including we've already got all this, but I mean the polished version of the shops inside, what the buildings would look like as a template and an idea, and the splash art of one of the 4 sectors of the cities. So the thing is that by the time we sort of get our hands on that, curate it, make sure it's all publishable with blogs and content and all the rest of it, it's a matter of, we're not going to just rush it out the second we get it. We're going to look at it and work out how to make sure that we get that across to you guys the best we can. We meaning the team or all of us? Well, that's a snigger that tells all, doesn't it? No, the fact is that I think for me, I can only speak personally, obviously, but from the idea and the concept and the seed, and then working out how it would actually work, and then all the pieces, and then getting that out onto paper, and then getting that across to developers that can understand what the hell you're actually talking about. Because what you're effectively saying is, oh, we want a metaverse. Oh, yeah, like Decentraland. No, not like Decentraland. Oh, how does it work? And then you go through explaining it. It's quite hard for someone to conceptualize through word what the pictures associated with what you're describing look like. So this has been over a year-long journey trying to just get the concept understood, fleshed out, and then obviously they've been putting the design concepts and everything together for some time now. So we're extremely excited by it, and I think Philip won't mind me quoting him. He says that our Friday updates with those guys, seeing the progress that they make each week, is the highlight of all of our weeks. We all crowd around the monitor and have a little bit of a squeal at how good it is. We can't believe that something this good's being put together. So we're very, very excited to show you. But
Benny, the harder thing is actually to not tell these guys on the call what we've seen. It's a lot. It's very hard to keep it under the hood.
It is, and it's absolutely,
I can't.
It is absolutely mind-blowing to think that what we're actually doing is we're providing a platform that all of the latest technology will be able to plug into in a modular fashion down the track. So the idea of this being the playground, and when I say that modular, think of it like, are any of you old enough to remember Lego or Lego? And when you've got that base rectangle that you put down, and then you put your blocks on top of it to build your house or your castle or whatever it was. Are any of you that old? You remember? Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, but
Jesus,
Benny,
like a wizard of Google.
The one that I built don't have base. The base ones are for the noobs.
You know how much those bases are worth on the secondary market now?
Are they worth a lot, are they?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Lego's huge.
I got a lot of bases, but I don't use them.
Well, you're going to be horrified at this. One day I had about 20 of them, I reckon, when I was a kid, because all the grandparents and everyone bought them for you. I got a cigarette lighter one day, and I decided that I'd hold it underneath, and I melted and warbled about 8 or 10 of them. And my parents still made me use it. So I had these wonky castles that wouldn't go together properly, and it was that'll serve you right for using that. We're not going to buy, money doesn't grow on trees. Yes, it does. It's made from paper. Yeah, little. It was a fun childhood. But anyway, the premise of what I'm talking about is, think of the virtual space as that rectangular base layer, and then the opportunities for people to come in and build, integrate the AI and the AR. And as you've seen, since we last spoke, we've gone out and broken down percentages of what we're doing with the sale money. That's it, one of those, but it was rectangle, not square. That looks more square. Mine were rectangle ones that were like almost like a brick, and you could build a little house with windows and doors and all the rest of it on there. So did everybody see the breakdown of the percentages of what we're doing with the RFOX? Yes. Okay. So effectively, we're going to burn a percentage. We're giving a percentage back to the VFOX holders to make sure that it's a bolstered amount, which is good. We're using some for the marketing, and putting a bit aside for the quartermasters as well, to make sure that they've got a good motivation to sort of give it a lot of focus and attention. And we're also doing the grants. So a couple of the big clothing labels and stuff that we've been talking to, or I shouldn't say that, should I? A couple of the
don't
retailers. Sorry, oops. So a couple of the retailers and stuff that we've been talking to that are from nondescript industries that are too vague to mention. I've really done it now, haven't I? Those people are interested, especially in from the perspective of bringing in artists and designers and stuff like that. So there'll be real world entrants coming into the digital space, and we now can offer them grants to develop and build, because these guys all have money and funds and all the rest of it, but ultimately we don't have the resources or the time to be able to develop NFTs for every single person that we're dealing with. So we'll be able to help them or give them resources or funding to be able to build stuff out, which will actually make them more inclined to sort of, it's a soft entry for them then, right? Because they can come in and know that someone who has an idea of what the industry is about and how to release stuff will actually help them do that. So that's very good. Fruit of the Loom. Jesus, is that still around? Fruit of the Loom. Gosh, that's a weird name, isn't it? Imagine the dude sitting around in an office saying, let's come up with a clothing company. What should we call it? We should call it Gap. Nah. Old Navy. Nah. What about Fruit of the Loom? What the hell is that?
Is that an Australian brand?
No, of course not. We don't know what looms are. But
Oshkosh, I'm very familiar with because my kids, my kids wear that. It's a kids clothing brand, Oshkosh.
What the hell is a Fruit of a Loom? You can't just throw that out there and play with people's minds like that.
A loom used to be used to create fabric. So a fruit of the loom would be like a fruit of your labor.
Yeah, it's like I imagine Rumpelstiltskin sitting at one of those old pedal press like woolen. Yeah, one of those things.
Yeah. So a fruit of the loom would be like fruit of your labor, right? But then they just played it up on fruit as being fruit, I think.
Hey, Benny, check it out. I Googled it, Fruit of the Loom, right? Shop underwear, undershirts, activewear.
Jesus.
They sell underwear.
Well, this escalated quickly, hasn't it? It was like digressed into some sort of a degenerative clothing talk. But anyway, the fact is that we've now started to attract some big people and some big players, and there's some big interest. So it's starting to snowball, and everybody wants to have a better look at what it looks like. But I'll tell you, the great part about it for us is that we're able to sell the notion on just the description alone without even having to show them the pictures that we've got and we see. So that's the people today went in and asked, how do you sell? How does it work? What technology stacks it built on? Who are you building it for? And we went through all of it, and they said that we're the first that could actually answer all the questions and had a deep understanding of how it would all integrate and work. So I think that's going to be good. Yeah, actually, talking about FOMO, Terence, I think that these types of people would be able to afford a fair bit per block as well, per shop.
Well, Terence, just think about it, right? If Fruit of the Loom, decides to launch their T-shirt NFTs, right? Every other clothing company would want to FOMO in, right? Because they would be the first, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So these guys are trying to actually one of the companies that we'd be looking to work with have done something very similar to crypto in the sense that they do, or similar to NFTs in the sense that they do drops. So they literally have a limited number of items that go for sale for a very short period of time, and then that's it. Then you can only get secondary market. So we've found like models and partners to work with, which is great. And we think that this will be a really great addition.
Look at all these goons. Everyone's just guessing.
He's talking about several brands, so it must be a multinational, which is a holding, having different brands in their portfolio. And my best bet on this, it's VF Corporation. It's my bet. I've been working there. I know these guys. I know what they're busy with. So, but okay.
Benny, can I have a permission to kick Relic out of the server and ban him forever?
He understands some stuff, so that's good. But ultimately, as far as Supreme's concerned, they are. I won't. They're interested for sure. That's different to this what I'm talking about, but Supreme are definitely interested. Many people are interested, and it's a matter of what we can negotiate. Because don't forget, we've got eight stores or shops that we're doing for marquee brands, if they can bring in crowds and do some marketing for us. And then we've got 12 for RFOX, and we can also offer those to partners. I've had DMs from some of you guys saying, if we've got a cool concept as a community, would we be able to, as KOGs holders, run a business or a shop? It's something that I can definitely float. But, I mean, ultimately, as I say, we've got 12. We have to work out what's the best way to utilize those. What was the other question?
Yeah, Benny, when the word goes out about the 8 marquee brands, right, I think people will start killing each other for a spot in those 8.
Yeah.
I am pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's going to happen.
We've just got to decide which ones are the right ones for us, because like I said, it looks like we'll get more than 20 or so that are very interested, and we haven't even started going out for expressions of interest yet. Will there be enough percentage of transaction earmarked to KOGs staking rewards for at least the next 12 months? So CCRY, we've got a percentage set aside for RFOX for rewards. We've also got RFOX in our, if you look at our black paper, set aside for RFOX games and KOGs. So we've got numbers of options, but we're also looking to how to really integrate KOGs into the virtual space in a lot deeper fashion. So, so the drop next week will be the first kind of indication of why it's valuable to hold KOGs. When pool, so DG and KOGs can get a shop. Well, the pool and the shop's different. Right. So you mean so you can earn enough from the pool to get the shop? Okay. So, Pete, I don't think there's any secrets there. We've been through the audit process, and we're putting the finishing touches on what the farm looks like. So we're inching closer.
You want to show them the farm? I think not. Next week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, next week. But let them see it finished.
Yeah.
But ultimately, we still plan. We have a meeting every day about it. But we had a meeting today, and we said, is there anything that would delay us from being able to do this by the 30th? And we have, at this stage, we have no red flags to say that this would not go ahead by the 30th. And we're madly going through the process of making sure that we're registered, because the one thing we want to do is make sure you guys are protected against fake contracts and all these bloody scammers. And when you've got SafeMoon tokens and stuff being worth 7.7 billion, the market's in a pretty, it's a pretty toppy place. So we want to make sure that people are not getting alleviated of their funds. So.
Oh yeah, Benny. Since while you're on it, right? Yeah, I just want to give a message out to the community that there is apparently a bridge out there that claims to bridge RFOX over to BSC, but that's not legit. You will basically, what you do is you lock your RFOX in, and then they'll give you some tokens on BSC, but it's not ours.
Yeah.
So just make sure wait for us to go out with the actual contracts and actual bridge, the URLs to the bridge and whatnot, or the farm, and not use some other guy's bridge, because somebody can easily just make a bridge and say, hey, use this bridge to bridge RFOX. And when you do, what you do is you end up getting some shitcoin on BSC that's not legit.
And once we start up a pool, which will advise you, the pool start up for BNB and RFOX ahead of the farming. Once we start up the pool, then it's a fair question for you guys to say, well, how'd you get your RFOX there? Because that means that the bridge is ready. So, so once we start to say, look, the pool is about to be launched and you can buy RFOX on the Binance side, then you will know. But from what I'm seeing today, there is absolutely, people can't actually use anything on the BSC side. Moving over Husky profits. Will the farm and staking be happening on Pancake Swap? No, they're happening on ours, but you will be able to use Pancake Swap's swapping tool to be able to buy RFOX. So going to be a massive opening ceremony event for the virtual space. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. We've got we've got some cool stuff coming up. You're going to start to see all the little pieces. Like I say, it's like a Seinfeld episode, and all the little pieces will come together. But the Miss Philippines contestants who aren't uneasy on the eye, those guys will also help us to do some promotion, and that'll also pave the way for rolling it out at the local level first in the Philippines. Yep, and those, I've got DMs from people, so I'm just going to say it as well. I did mention it. It is mentioned, and it is the case. Did anyone see the Blockchain Australia interview panel? You did, DGen? Yep, so you know what I'm about to say. Brian Koo does have a startup in the Philippines for jeepneys. They're replacing the old gas-guzzling chuggities with these new green cars or vehicles. And the two things that they have talked to us about, which I mentioned in there as the use case, are first of all making it so that you can actually buy an NFT, which gives you the rights to a jeepney, meaning all the fares and the passengers and the profits and all the rest of it can go to you. Second thing is that they've asked us. So this is not something we're 100% going ahead with. This is something we've been talking about and entertaining the thought of. The second thing that we've been offered, which is a very, very massive offer for us, is they want RFOX as a stable coin to be used as the preferred payment method for the public transport there in the Philippines, which would mean that you would have to be able to, and we have to work out how to do all of that. You'd have to be able to go to a 7-Eleven or a Family Mart and top up and be able to put credits on your phone and then use your mobile phone to be able to pay for your transportation. And if that happens, we've got Novogratz is organising us to talk to Terra, and that would be something that's definitely worth exploring. And the only reason I'm bringing this up as a topic of conversation rather than an announcement is that we have a lot of these types of opportunities, and we have to assess whether or not we can actually do it. So just being offered something's one thing, doing it is another. But if you had the ability to become a payment method for something like a transportation system in a country like the Philippines, you can imagine that would be obviously not the extent and limit of where you could actually use those stable coins. So, and the first question I got from people that did watch it was, what's this about a stable coin? We've talked a lot about either needing a stable coin or a database credit type system, because if we want to be a serious player in the NFT space going forwards, we can't have this stupid fluctuating price of I bought it for 10 RFOX, 8 RFOX, 7 RFOX, 6 RFOX, 9 RFOX. It should be that you've got a standardized, at least a lock-in value and a measurement tool for understanding the value and the worth of your NFT purchases. So, yes. Resdart, stablecoin. They don't mean RedFOX as a stablecoin, as in the RFOX token that you know now. They mean take a percentage of the RFOX and a supply and convert that into an RFOX stablecoin backed by RFOX, which would mean, yes. Still showing in peso to the user and settled in RFOX under the hood. Correct, Crypto J? Correct. So yes, that would be obviously pretty big, and it would lead to being accepted in a number of different places outside of that. But this is the type of connections that we've got that can bring us great deals. And now we just have to work out whether we can do it. But what we're trying to do, and this will disappoint some people listening, and that is we're learning to say no more than we say yes. And the reason we're doing that is because we want to make sure that the things we say yes to are done properly and they're not half-assed. Like, for example, if we brought out a new platform NFTs and you couldn't buy them or you couldn't open them, or
you mean like the MLB fiasco last night, Benny?
Oh, no, I wasn't talking about anything specific. I was just talking about giving you an example of something that could potentially happen if it wasn't done properly. Who is asking, Benny? Phil government or the company startup? The company startup, who also, don't forget, those guys also did all the payment gateways, rails, and on-ramps for all the wallets for Grab, Globecash, Gcash, GrabPay, all of that stuff. So the right connections and the right people and the right time to be able to get this to happen. Yep. Yes, exactly, Gralek. We're looking at making sure that we've said this before, and I'm going to say it again now, but it hasn't been really talked about other than in 1 or 2 videos. We don't go down the process of building a farm and setting all of this stuff up so that we can say, right, we did a VFOX thing, and then after a couple of months we packed up the bag and went home. The idea is to make sure that we still have TVL, so total value locked, and that we offer ongoing staking and farming. And I've told you before, we had before 6 projects that were interested in doing some form of LP staking or farming. That's now led to a lot more, and now we've got a couple of 2 projects that want to actually do some sort of an IDO or IFO or something through us as well. So what we said today in today's meeting is we won't rule anything out. We'll look at everything, but we don't want to paint ourselves into a corner of having to do something if it doesn't make sense. So let's just say that we're keeping the options open, and there'll be a lot more coming than just the standard LP liquidity mining and staking. Any more you can share about the joint venture with Kinetic? Yep. So, well, I can tell you something very cool about that. Their company's customer experience, obviously that's our background, and we know this area very well, and I know the guys that run that company very well. But we're thin on resource because we're growing so fast. We had, how many people started this week, Pete? 6?
6. No, 5.
Yeah.
6. 6. Yeah, 6.
6. So we had 6
started this week.
Yeah, I mean, just we had to have a session today just to introduce everybody to each other, because it's just like crazy how fast we're growing. So, and these people are all like rock stars in their respective industries. So, with Kinetic, their specialty is what we know as well, but they're very, very good at it. So what we've done is actually said, can you come in and consult a little bit and help us, because we need to focus on other stuff at the moment. And you know, he's very, very impressed with what RFOX is doing, and has been for some time, but now he's really, really impressed. And then turned around and said, I will do the consulting for, I want to actually participate in RFOX. I would like to be able to take RFOX as a form of payment. And then went out and very nicely, and this was all off of his own bat, nothing to do with us, went out and said, I'm going to start accepting RFOX, ETH, and Bitcoin as forms of payment for all of our services. So that's a tremendous vote of confidence, because he does a lot of work in the Middle East, big contracts with big Saudi companies and stuff like that. So this is great exposure for us as well.
Benny, so funny you mentioned that, you know, this week we had 6 people coming on board, right? Because if I recall correctly, I was the 7th guy to join you guys, right? So there's only 6 people before I joined, and now we're hiring 6 people a week. That means a lot.
Yeah, I mean, obviously people can call BS on us for that, in the sense that we've always had like large numbers of contractors, but what Pete's talking about is core team members. We're talking about actual like full-time employees that are not contracted, that are not for scaling based on demand. These are actually core members. So so what Pete's saying is correct. All those extra people that we contract and all the people that we partner with are in addition to all of the people that we're recruiting full time. So it's crazy, and we still can't hire fast enough to fill the skill gaps. Maybe Cuban will. Who knows? We're not chasing people. We're actually chasing a vision, and the people will come to us. We hired 6 people ready this week, Hero Gamer. I think this week's not over yet. We've still got, actually, we've just made an offer to somebody in a very, very key position, and that person will make will make people's eyebrows raise a little bit, because this person's background is, I think even people that are very staunch supporters of RFOX will say, holy crap, this is the type of level of people that are coming in as far as experience in this industry is concerned. I think that's all I'll say for now. No, apprentice. No. Not 13 people in total. We've got, I think, even if you don't include me and Glenn and Wade and Joe, who are all sitting in the one office, I think we had 27 different dial-ins this week for our Monday meeting, plus us, plus all of the contractors and all the rest of it. I think we've got, well, we must have tipped 30 in the core staff now, Pete. I'll get a number.
Sorry, I was on mute. We got 31, Benny.
31. But so 31
across, not just labs, across labs and our RFOX games.
Yeah. And for those who say, hang on, you've got a rule. We do have a rule, and that is no more than 30 people at RFOX labs, RedFOX labs. And the other rule that we have is never more than 5 downstream, meaning you never look after more than 5 people, because you can't give the people the individual attention that they need and get resources or development tools for them if you're looking after more than 5 people. So we've got a pretty clear structure on how to make sure that we live the people first value that we talk about. Yeah, exactly, Hero Gamer. It's getting, like I said, though, 30 at the top level will be the limit. And then each of the ventures will have however many people they need to sufficiently run their venture. But this week we're looking at bringing on, I think it's 3 people just in the Philippines to start the rollout of building the customer base in the Philippines, and that would be just the first part. And then this would, whatever we're doing is replicated in every country. So that's just the initial 3 to get the real marketing activations going. And we've got a really cool campaign designed by a very bright young person who this will start to roll out in all of the countries in this Asian region, and that's going to get us a lot of followers. Maximum 30 core members for RedFOX Labs, CH1V. That's just for RedFOX Labs. So 30 core people there, no more. Need an island to place them all. Yep, we're working on that. Actually, PJ, that's one of the things that we do know how to do well. So PJ's question is, what about the growing that fast? The one thing that we do know how to do well is scale, and this is the part of the business that we're the most comfortable with. So we've got a lot of experience in big multinationals, turning them around, making them lean, doing cultural change management pieces, introducing customer experience concept. And even though the team's big, Pete was in the session today, we had, I think about, 12 or 13 people in today's onboarding session. Was it that many?
Not including the previous staff. I think there were 9 new people, I believe. No, 12 new people. 12 new people, then you, 12. Glenn, Wade, myself, Philip.
Yeah. So the answer is no. We've got a very strict set of cultural values. We take people through that. We do an induction process. We give people insights into where we're going, and we ask people why those cultural values are important. We go through a real system and structure and process. And the good thing is that we're also bringing in people that we know. So that's really good, because it means that we've worked with a lot of these people before. So that mitigates a lot of that risk. So we're in a position now to bring in the talent that we work with around the world that can really help us. And for example, Philip is bringing in some of the people that he's worked with before that he thinks are the superstars, and Fads is building his own team full of people that he's worked with before. So we're doing a good job of balancing it, and we're just trying to make sure that we just we're across it and we're giving people the attention and focus that they need. Aguila, that would be the longer term play, yes. But they're all kind of connected in some way, shape, or form. So yes, that's right, Hero Gamer. How many people employees does RedFOX have now? So as Pete said, we've got about 31 full-time core staff. Plus, if you take into consideration all of the contractors that we use, that's a lot. Like even for the app development that we have here in Vietnam alone, I think there's 13 to 16 people that are on that team that we sort of cycle through, and that's just one team. And then if you take into consideration all of the different people that we use on a contract basis, it's a lot. And then we've got all of the artists, obviously. How many artists are we up to now, Pete, that work on contracts?
I don't know, 15, 20. I lost track.
Yeah,
but for RedFOX Labs we got 17, and then for RFOX, right now it's just RedFOX Labs and RFOX Games. So games we got 14, labs we got 17. And when I say labs, I mean loosely include media as well.
Yeah, and RFOX Media, which is just being set up now, is has already got 3, and we're looking at bringing them another 3 for that before the proper rollout. So if you take into consideration contractors and all the rest of it, as Pete said, just with the artists from KOGs and then the app developers, we're already up to 70 or thereabouts, and there's more than that as well. So it's getting big, and it's getting big fast. Yes, Hero Gamer, sure. Yep, you do keep us honest. RFOX 2020, isn't it a beauty? Yes, so all of the features, benefits, and all the rest of it will be rolled out. We're also looking at working with partners for future stuff. I'll let Fads talk to you about that stuff when he talks to you. How much were the starter packs when 2nd edition came out? Yeah, $30. You've already answered. Yep. Can I borrow Healthy? Yeah, we've tried to also involve lots of people from the community as well. So, as you would know, because you guys talk to each other all the time, we've utilised a number of resources from the community. We'd rather work with people that have a passion for the product and understand it than to use complete strangers. So, where possible, we try and give people a test or a trial and see what they can provide. And Question, what's the biggest threat to RFOX externally, and what's the biggest challenge internally? Great questions. So the biggest threat externally is 100% obviously competition, and making sure that we've got, that's why we have to rely on our 9-point funnel system, is making sure that we're able to compete at a really high quality level. And because we're building a lot of stuff that hasn't been built before, the competition is heading in different directions, and it's very difficult to navigate because you're not actually measuring yourself apple to apple comparison with some of the people that we're competing against. It's apples to oranges, and it's very easy to get distracted and look over and say, hey, what are they doing? Versus saying, let's stay true to our course and let's do it the way that we need to do it. So I think competition would be the biggest external risk to us. And also people might turn around and say, well, other people do just one of the things that you do, so they've got extra focus and laser attention. Well, that's not actually true, because that's why we've got RFOX Games and RFOX Media, and we spin these companies off and get the best of the best to work in them. So we are laser focused on each of our areas. Internally, we're told that our biggest threat will always be finding enough talent at the caliber that we want, specifically for this region of the world, because we also have to be able to communicate across multiple languages. We have to remotely manage the workforces, but ultimately we've had a lifetime of experience working in multinationals and having to lead through influence. And for example, at Orador, I had to manage 17 different countries or operations, and I had to manage all of those people through over the phone. And then every week I would fly to a different operation and spend a week with each different country. And for the 16 weeks that you're not in that country, you have to do it all over email, telephone call, and you're managing big teams. So it's quite difficult. But once you get the flow of it and you get a system and process in place, it can work quite well. But we're told that our biggest internal threat will be people. we believe that our biggest threat internally will be being able to find third-party tools that we can use to prove the concept or product market fit, and then have to move to build our own, because we don't want to be using tools that don't work properly. Internally has to be.
What's your comment on Adler's reply?
No, not at all. Pete's actually very easy to deal with. To be honest, we've actually got a very, very cool team, and we've got a very cool vibe and connection, and everybody's very different, but we apply the same no dickhead policy to Telegram and Discord, and we do the same thing in the company. And the fact is, we're all very different. We all share our stories of backgrounds and all the rest of it. And the funny thing is that we all have a very shared vision and belief that RedFOX is going to be massive, and we all get very excited and feed off of each other's energy. And it's actually, I've worked in so many places to doing cultural turnarounds and stuff like that, and we've got the earmarks to be something very, very exciting, and we're just trying to keep a lid on it a little bit, because we need to go under the radar a little bit longer to be able to just sort of make sure that the infrastructure is in place, so that when these waves start coming in, that we can handle it. Check out after the call. Maybe if we send both, Linda. Cheers. I mean, I lost a few of you, huh? You've gone, yep. All right, off to trades. Who do you imagine the biggest competition in 5 years' time? If I told you that, Hero Gamer, you'd probably lose a little bit of respect. But if I want to be 100% honest, and I want to pretend I'm talking to our team now and not you guys, we're going after the big guys. We honestly go after. We honestly talk about taking out Facebooks and Amazons, and people say never say that. That's you shouldn't be talking about that type of stuff. But the fact is, we start with the end in mind always. We don't start. We're not planning on being a small, tiny, insignificant player. We go hard or we go home. We want to make sure that we ruffle some feathers and we mix things up. And we've got a massive advantage at the moment. We're small. We're agile. We can move quickly. We can bring in groundbreaking technology, and we can try new things. And we're not afraid to take a stab. We're not afraid to take some calculated risks and give it a try. And if we fail together, and we fail safely. We mitigate our risk. We roll out ideas that are new. And if we find that product market fit, we pump serious money into it. We put our foot down, we find the best talent, and we build it out. So we're not afraid to take a risk. Do you see market prices of RFOX token and market cycles having an adverse effect on the development roadmap? That's a great question, Crypto J. So I'll be very honest with you. I'll be very, very honest with you. We are working as fast as we can, and this is probably going to be music to the RFOX investors' ears. We're working as fast as we can to build up enough genuine and sustainable interest to make sure that we've got volumes and liquidity, because we have a development fund that comes through every month. We haven't touched that yet, and we want to be in a